What's poppin', world? I hope all is well. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't already, go ahead and click that bell so you get a notification anytime I go live and anytime I post a video. And if any moment during this video you like what you're hearing, go ahead and hit that like button so we can get to the algorithm and more people can see this content. Let's get into this. Today, we're going to review a clip that my wife sent me, right? In this clip, I believe it's on the Hardly Initiated podcast. And there's a woman on there saying that the number one indicator for a child to know if a child is going to thrive is the quality of his mother's happiness, right? It's the quality of his mother's happiness. We're going to watch this clip and I'm going to break this all the way down and speak to if this is actually true. Let's get into this.
The number one outcome or the number one indicator for how children grow up to thrive, whether or not they actually do?
I thought it was the daddy in the house.
Absolutely not.
What's
Believe
that?
it or not, it is the quality of their mother's happiness.
Wow. Damn.
The quality of their mother's happiness is the number one indicator as to whether or not a child will grow up to thrive. Because if you have a depressed mother, if you have an anxious mother, if you have a mother with post-traumatic stress disorder who is having to disconnect from her own body, she cannot show up to nurture you. She cannot show up to support you. She cannot fully step into that space. And what she will teach you about being in relationships with other people, whether you can trust them, whether you can trust yourself, whether you can actually be committed and connected to somebody and know that they will reciprocate that to you in a healthy way. She teaches you that not through her words, but through her actions. And so what I will say to you, sis, is that you have to decide for yourself how you want your children not to just grow up in your house, but to grow up in this world. Because you are teaching them that right now through how you are living your life and showing them how life is supposed to be in this roof with this man. Do you guys know the number?
All right, guys. So you saw that, you heard that, right? You saw that, you heard that. Now, a lot of things that she said in that video are true, right? It's important that the mother is in a good head space. It's important that she's not suffering from PTSD and all this other things. It's important that she ain't stressed out. All of these things are important, right? However, she said that the number one indicator that a child will grow up and thrive is the quality of his mother's happiness. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. Who knows, right? Do you guys think that that is the number one indicator as to if a child will grow up and thrive? Is that the number one indicator? Well, you clicked on this video for a reason. You want to know what I think, right? Or what I know, for that matter. Well, what I have to say about it is this. That is actually not true. That is actually not true. The number one indicator for if a child is going to grow up and thrive is that child growing up with order and structure, right? Also discipline, right? These are things that, these are the number one, or that's the number one indicator as to if a child will grow up and thrive. But let me just speak on what she said, right? Let's speak to a mother's happiness. First off, let's say this. Happiness is fleeting, right? It comes and goes. I'm going to say it again. Happiness is fleeting. It comes and goes. Now, if you're talking about contentment, that's something that's long lasting. But happiness comes and goes, right? But let's just go along with it. Let's just say someone's adulthood or early adulthood as they have a child or as they're with a child. Let's just say they're happy. Let's just go with it, right? Let's just say they're happy, right? I know several of women, right? When I grew up, my mom had friends, and then I knew a lot of kids, the neighborhoods and the schools. I was around them a lot. I was around their families a lot. I was around their moms a lot. Their moms were very, very happy women. I saw them, school, in their houses, at their apartments, at cookouts, different events. Very, very happy women. Very happy. However, many of their children, I would say about the people I'm thinking about 90% of them, when their kids grew up, they were, people would say they was bad, right? Or in bad situations, right? I'm talking about jail. I'm talking about prison. I'm talking about criminal records out the wazoo. I'm talking about girls who I grew up with kids and terrible relationship with the baby daddy. I mean, they struggling. I'm talking about making poor decision after poor decision after poor decision. Can't keep jobs. I mean, some of them drop out of school. I mean, like bad situations. But their moms were very, very happy. Their moms were happy growing as we grew up. Their moms was very happy. Their moms were very happy, but it didn't translate to those kids thriving. It did not translate to those kids thriving, right? Another thing, you have women out here who are not happy because they can't go on vacations every month, right? You got women out here who are not happy because they can't get that bag that they want, or those shoes, or those clothes. You got women who are not happy because they can't live in a certain type of house. You got women who are mad because they can't drive a certain type of car, right? Now, you mean to tell me because those women are unhappy, their kids won't thrive in life? You mean to tell me because that woman's mad because she can't have all the things she wants in life or the things she thinks she deserves out of life, those kids are not going to thrive? I disagree. There are a lot of women who aren't happy, mothers who aren't happy, but they instill discipline in their kids and they raise their kids up with order and structure, and those kids turn out to be great. But the mom wasn't necessarily happy, right, raising those kids. As she raised them, she was, maybe struggling with other things. She did a good job raising her kids. She wasn't necessarily happy, but it didn't affect the kids thriving as they got older because she still created a system that had order and structure and discipline, right? Think about men and women of other cultures, right? You got the Asian culture, you got the Hispanic culture, you got the European or white culture, right? You got Africans, people come from the continent of Africa, right? Many of those households are very structured. And many of those households have parents, or even if you look at the dad, a lot of the dads in those households are very strict. Very strict. And the moms, you got moms that are very strict. And that's how they raise them, and that's how they live in the household. They don't play a lot of games. Nah, everything is serious. And those kids grow up to thrive, even more so than the men and women in the black community, right? But they come up in strict households, and their moms aren't necessarily happy. You ask them, the mom, nah, it was strict. Everything was strict. We didn't get to do nothing fun. Everything was strict. Mama didn't have a quality level of happiness, but they still thrived. You see what I'm saying? They still thrived. Those kids thrived because there was order and structure. You see what I'm saying? So it's not always about whether you have a high quality of happiness as far as the mom, right? But if there's order, structure, and discipline, those kids are more likely to thrive. Think about the greatest people in the world, right? The most successful people in the world, right? You're not going to hear them say, oh, I thrived, or I'm successful because my mom was very happy. No, you ain't going to hear that. But what you will hear is, I thrived and I'm successful because my parents or my parent was hard on me. You will hear that, right? You will hear that. So again, they're saying, she said, the number one indicator as to if a child will grow up to thrive is the quality of his mother's happiness. Nah, that ain't true at all. Now it does help. It does help. You know, if the kid grows up in the household, sees mom happy, and she's in the household even with dad or stepdad or whoever it is, and they're doing well and they got a good system going, that helps. That helps a lot. That helps a lot. You know, that's actually a great thing. It's you growing up in a healthy situation. But that's not the number one indicator as to if a child will thrive. Again, think about the most successful, let's just do athletes and singers and things like that. Think about Michael Jackson. Think about Floyd Mayweather. Think about Venus and Serena Williams. Think about who else? Let's just go with those guys, right? Those are the greatest to do it. Think about Michael Jordan. These are the greatest guys to do it, right? In their respective sports or art, like singing, rapping, whatever the case is, right? The people I named are the greatest. And they will tell you, I think with those people I named, their fathers were hard on them growing up. Their fathers were hard on them, and their mothers weren't necessarily happy. But there was a structure in place to make sure that those kids excelled in their craft, right? To make sure they excel in their craft. But it wasn't because of their mother's quality of happiness. That's not what is the number one indicator of a child thriving in life. But that's all I got for you guys. Think about it. Like this video, share this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I can be off on this one. And subscribe to the YouTube, Speech to Beast. And remember, guys and ladies, keep God first, as it says on the wall. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Joshua 24:15. I love you all. Be blessed.